particularly, right? I know who you are. Now, I have actually spoken about this subject matter, this opening subject, a little bit in the past, so you all already know my feelings about the Nextdoor app, right? If you know what I'm talking about, it's that neighborhood app. I have my notifications turned on so that all the time I see what's happening with the conversations between my neighbors. Typically, they are conversations and interactions of the basest nature. Friends and neighbors rail against each other for silly infractions of homeowners association rules. It happens unbelievably all the time. People yelling and screaming. It is pure entertainment to read. Now, I just want to know, how many of you have ever posted one of those on Nextdoor? See, none of you will admit to what you've done. But this week, there was one particular post that struck me more than any before. It struck me really with the power of the message. A user in a nearby subdivision wrote these words: "After reading about tragedies in the news, I can't help but reach out to my neighbors and leave them with a sincere promise. I promise that I will teach my kids to love your kids, no matter their color, religion, gender, or any other difference. You are welcome to knock on my door and ask for a favor when you are in need. All of you are welcome in my company, no matter our differences. I just wish the rest of the world felt the same way." It was amazing. It stopped me in my tracks. Given the news from Buffalo this week, I was taken aback. So many of the news outlets out there tried to politicize events by arguing about critical race theory and replacement theories. That single social media post, though, got it right. Because the events, the horrific events that took place in an urban grocery store in Buffalo, New York this week, were not about immigration or borders or what side of the political aisle you sit on. Plain and simple, that shooting was about hate. And the only way to combat hate like that is with a pure form of kindness. And from a Jewish lens, there is actually no better framing of that than what we found in the Torah just a couple of weeks ago in Parashat Kedoshim. Known as the Holiness Code, our ancient tradition codifies a simple truth that we should just treat others as we want to be treated. Plain and simple. Kindness and respect of others always wins. So I want to re-emphasize that this is not a political sermon. It's not about ideology or politics, despite what the reports on CNN and Fox News present. This is Jewish values in its humblest form. Be nice to other people. That's all. Nothing more is needed to make the world more livable. So to make my point a little more clear, I decided to share with you a few additional Jewish teachings on the subject. You see, in our tradition, kindness is expressed by a singular word, chesed. Chesed, like other Hebrew words, doesn't translate precisely into English. The word means more than just being kind. It's often translated as loving kindness. Chesed means giving of yourself fully, completely with love and compassion to other people. And a quick survey of Jewish texts proves that other Jewish scholars really held the value of loving kindness up as our primary ethical value. The concept appears in the Torah no less than 190 times. If that is not an example of what our tradition was trying to teach, I don't know what is. So here are just a few examples from Jewish literature that I found easily with a quick search of Google. One of the most famous comes from Pirkei Avot, where Hillel says, "Be among the disciples of Aaron, loving peace, pursuing peace, loving people, and bringing them closer to the Torah." Aaron, Moses' brother, was famous for his love of other people in the way he helped them have arguments. According to Jewish tradition, Aaron saw friends and spouses divided in arguments by conflict, and he would speak with them kindly, assuring that each party had the sincere opportunity to speak their mind and regretted their arguments and wanted peace. That was Aaron's gift. But also in Pirkei Avot, we read that Shimon the righteous was accustomed to say, the world is based on three things: on Torah, learning, on the service to God, worship, and on acts of loving kindness. Once again, we learn very clearly that kindness isn't optional in Jewish tradition. Reaching out to other people with goodness is a key part of working to make the world a better place. Being kind is integral to what it means to be a Jew. Then there's the famous medieval commentator Maimonides, who says acts of kindness are greater than charity because they can be done for both the rich and the poor. Charity can only be done with one's money, while acts of loving kindness can be performed both personally and with your money. You see, Ramban understood something. Loving kindness can include things beyond charitable contributions: visiting the sick, inquiring about how your friend or neighbor is doing, helping to facilitate good experiences in life, treating everyone with a bit of warmth. He even prescribed, the Rambam did, exactly how we are supposed to say goodbye to guests at the end of a visit. Rambam teaches, walk the person to the door. Say goodbye with warmth. Nobody should feel uncared for. What an incredible message. It's what we taught our children when they were growing up. It is the simplest of lessons for life. Now, this is actually where we turn to the interactive part of my sermon. And I'm not talking about raising your hand and giving examples of how you are going to be kind. I want you to practice something right now. Turn to somebody near you and say something nice. Not just hello, not just nice to meet you. Look at them. Maybe they sang beautifully tonight. Maybe you like their shirt, their hair color. Say something nice to the person around you. You can come up and say something nice to him or them. You can keep going. I mean, doesn't it feel good? It feels nice to say something nice. It feels nice to hear it. And listen to what Rabbi Jonathan Sacks wrote in his famous book, last century, From Optimism to Hope. Listen carefully. Acts of kindness never die. They live on in our memory. They give life to other acts in return. So, this isn't about controversial theories, partisan ideologies, guns, or laws. It's just an instruction manual from our tradition about how to combat ugliness that we see in the world. It is a challenge from us, your clergy, to do better, to be better in every moment of our lives. Now, I admit it is not always easy. There are times that we make mistakes. I certainly, all of my colleagues can attest, make these mistakes. We just have to try to be better. And quite frankly, I can't say it any better than the way our tradition has already. Please, listen to those words of Shimon the righteous. The world is based on three things: on Jewish Torah learning, on worship together with a community, and upon chesed, or acts of loving kindness. Reaching out is what makes us a better place, a better world. So go practice tonight, tomorrow, next week in the real world. Start right now and be a shining example to the world. I think that all the rest is commentary. So go and study. Shabbat shalom.